Hello and welcome to the first installment of Paid in Green Peppers, the ultimate movie review site. My name is Patrick Hite, and this is my good buddy,
Shane Aden, and I don't know if I'm your buddy after watching this movie.
Now, I, in all fairness, I recommended this film. It's called CATMAN Lethal Track, or actually the version we watched is called U.S. CATMAN in Lethal Track, I believe, which, whatever.
I'm not sure it makes a lot of difference.
I don't think it makes any difference at all, except they felt the need to, maybe release this film in another country, simply calling it CATMAN Lethal Track. So they felt the need to put U.S. CATMAN. So we knew that he was an American, even though he's actually played by an Australian, and then redubbed by some other fellow they felt the need to pay.
I'm fairly certain there are like 3 people on the entire film doing all the voices. This is like watching the old Filmation He-Man, where just everybody sounds exactly the same.
Yeah, really that's true, because watching this film, I felt it very difficult to keep the characters separate, not only due to the fact that many of the voices sounded the same, but many of the characters actually looked the same.
That's because you're a racist and you can't tell Asians apart.
Well, I'm not, for the record, I'm not a racist, but I can see where you would think that, because I was very confused watching this film, actually.
I'm not sure it was a film. I think it was a film someone stole, and then we can add 7 minutes of different footage and it'll be something completely different. None of this had anything to do with anything.
It was a little random, which brings me to my next point. This film was produced by Joseph Lai, or Lai, L-A-I, however you pronounce it. I'm probably saying it wrong. And directed by Godfrey Ho. Even though when he did this film, he was using the alias Alton Chung, which I'm assuming is an Elton John kind of a ripoff kind of thing. I don't know, maybe he thought that sounded more American. I don't know.
Maybe he just didn't want his family to know what he was involved with, because they were less ashamed of his porn career than this.
The shame factor, that probably came into play. So, this Joseph Lai and Godfrey Ho, I did a little research. I like to research these films a bit after I watch them, put myself through these films, if you will. Apparently these guys have collaborated on just a boatload of films, mainly through the decade of the 80s, right up until around 1990. They would take these little known, like this one, for instance, was made in Thailand. At least I'm led to believe it was Thailand. So they took a film, I'm assuming it was a full-length film at some point, chopped it to pieces, shot new footage, maybe, what would you say, maybe 15 whole minutes of CATMAN footage in this film?
I thought I was just joking, so that's actually what they did.
They did. They took an existing film, I don't know if they stole it, paid somebody for the negative, or what they did, but then they reshot.
If they paid, they overpaid, no matter what they paid.
I don't think they paid much. Okay. Maybe they fed them some, I don't know what they did.
Green peppers?
they paid them with green peppers, exactly. But they did. They shot this new footage and inserted it into this film, which really did neither. I don't know. The film that existed before was probably better, even though after watching this, you may not agree, because it wasn't much of a film to begin with.
Yeah, I don't agree.
And the new footage, like I said, maybe 15 minutes of actual hero footage. So, it's like watching 2 films.
It's a schizophrenic nightmare.
Yeah, there's zero connection to these films. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. The only connection they had to the first film is they mentioned the Church of the Siva, or whatever it was, at one point at the end of the film, and that was it.
Well, see, that was the connective tissue that held the 2 pieces together.
Yeah, like a rotting zombie.
Like a rotting zombie, because in all reality, none of the characters in the CATMAN footage ever interact with the characters from the pre-existing footage from the Thai film.
That's because people from Thailand had too much pride to want to wear acid-wash jean jackets.
And in all fairness, that's true, because none of them did. Now, the CATMAN footage is riddled with villains wearing acid-wash jean jackets, and a multitude of patches affixed to these things. Like you said, there was a Honda patch in one scene. I mean, just all these, I don't know, I guess they thought that that's how gangsters dress.
I lived in the 80s, man. There were patches and there were pins. We did that. We didn't do this. I'm not sure what they were going for.
I don't know. I don't know what the. I don't know if that was something to do with the director.
Technicolor Nightmare. Is this what they probably were going for?
Yeah, okay. maybe so. Because that's another thing about this film. It's very dark. It's a dark film.
Yeah, I was watching the credits and I'm fairly certain the director of lighting was Helen Keller. Director of photography, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, because these people did not worry about backlighting at all.
Or front lighting.
Or front lighting. Or
lighting.
Flash lighting. Nothing. I mean, it was pitiful.
Gas lighting, perhaps, for the stunts, but other than that.
Right. The Catman footage, in its defense, is somewhat brighter than the original Thai film because it's mostly taking place in this wooded jungle type area, I guess.
Right, the Great Pine Forests of Thailand.
Right.
It looks a heck of a lot like Northern California.
Yeah, really. I mean,
who
knew? And then the Catman footage takes place in what appears to be some just street area. There's a few buildings here and there, and the villain's hideout takes place in what appears to be maybe the basement of I don't know what it is, a gymnasium or...
I think they broke into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set on an off day and just used that basement that they were using before they actually got all the cool stuff in there. Because the army that they had of, 5 people?
Yeah, it was a huge, deadly army of 5.
Right. I can understand why everyone's coming to this church if there's 5 whole people there. And... we'll get to that later.
We will. So, is there anything else you want to add about maybe the history of this film, which we really have no idea what the history of this film is?
It's
shrouded in secrecy.
I went to the holy grail of all moviedom, the IMDb.com, and they had nothing on this stuff. And this is a site where you can add whatever you want, and no one saw fit to add anything. Such were these amazing talents' careers that they did not have pictures. They have pictures of extras on IMDb. These are just the blank profile, insert a picture of somebody here. I don't know. This movie shouldn't exist. It really shouldn't.
And I'm not sure it does, in all reality, because in researching it, you pretty much ran into a brick wall. I went through probably 10 different websites, some of them even from Hong Kong, and what I was really looking for was I wanted to find out what the original title of the Thai film, which they destroyed, was called, so that maybe I could find a copy and look at it and see if it made a little more sense, I guess, but I had zero luck with that. So that leads me to believe either no one has any idea what this film was called, or maybe it was something that was never even finished, and the guy just scraped it up off the film room floor and just said, "Hey,
that would explain the quality of the film
and the quality of the acting, just everything, really,
pretty much." Yeah. Well, would you like to go ahead and walk us through what this movie was supposed to be? I still honestly do not have any expletive idea of what I just watched.
I have theories, so yeah, I can throw a few of those out there. I think what it was supposed to be, well, the film opens up, first of all, we're seeing the Thai footage of this gang. There's a truck delivery to this gang.
Let's just not even try to distinguish the Thai from the Catman footage because it's supposed to be tied together. Anyway, no, let's just go through. So the opening up with the footage.
And correct me if I'm wrong on any of this.
And that was
does it not open? It does open with a truck making a delivery, maybe?
No, it opens up with the bus full of people being robbed.
That's right. I completely forgot about that.
Robbed by armed bandits, and by armed bandits I mean they have a stick.
What?
A stick. They're holding up a stick. An entire busload of people become frozen in fear. And give me money. Don't hurt me. And that's actually pretty close to what it sounds like.
Who likes to be hit with a stick, though? I mean, these people were horrified. Maybe they didn't have a stick. Therefore, it was a weapon.
My 4-year-old daughter beats my 6-year-old son with a stick bigger than that. And he whines about it too. So, okay.
So I've made my point.
Sure, why not?
You know, it could have been anything as long as, whatever. So anyway, yeah, the bus arrives, they rob, or they're on the bus actually, right? Aren't they posing as bus patrons, if you will, and they merely stand up?
I'm fairly certain, but my mind is trying to save me by blocking this out, even though I just watched this.
Right. I know. Well, that's understandable. Yeah, I think they were actually posing as bus patrons, if you will. They stand up, announce that, hey, we're the villains of this film, and we're going to rob you.
Sure.
That's what we do.
Exactly.
That's how we survive. And then anyway, one thing leads to another. We're back at the compound.
The compound, which
is heavily guarded.
An impenetrable fortress.
Right.
An impenetrable fortress made up of like 5 structures made of palm leaves and a fence made of bamboo stick. A person could walk through it, walk across it. There is no protection. There's nothing that this is keeping in or out. And I don't understand why even bother having a fence if there's no reason to have a fence.
Maybe they have pets or cattle or something like that we didn't actually see in the film, but they don't want them scurrying about.
The 9-foot gaps, I understand, would be way too small for a head of cattle to go through.
Maybe they're elephants.
Yeah, because the elephant couldn't knock over that 16 ounces of bamboo.
They're very tame elephants.
Sure, okay. Dead elephants, perhaps.
Maybe this compound, the reason they didn't feel the need to really make it an impenetrable fortress is because they had this reputation already of, whoa, we don't mess with these people's compound. These are the villains, and we don't dare cross through this gaping hole in the fence because
sure.
They may, pay the prices.
Right. I can understand the intimidation factor.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
Well, that brings us to the leader of the gang, right?
Oh, yes.
When you mentioned the intimidation factor.
The one-eyed Asian mule bringer.
Exactly. He's this, I wouldn't say overly muscular, bald-headed gentleman, but he runs around with these sleeveless shirts and vests and things of that nature. He has an eye patch, which I believe you described as...
It looks like there's a Kennedy $50 attached to a piece of leather wrapped around his head. And he has a matching necklace because sparkle.
Fashion. He has the match. And I believe, if my research is correct, his name was Bull. Yes, Bull, the one-eyed leader of the rebel faction of bandits. That's how he was described in some of the research that I found. And
his name was never mentioned in the movie, though.
Yeah, I don't think they ever called him Bull.
They never called anybody anything.
No. So maybe that's something somebody made up. I honestly
don't know. That's what you're saying.
And since there's actually 0 credits on this film, I believe, with the exception of maybe the director and so forth at the beginning, the end of the film has no credits, so we're left to just kind of guess who these people are. Hope we see them in future films.
No, we're left to go find as much hard liquor as we can and try to erase this pain from our minds.
Fair enough. So anyway, we're back at the compound. One thing leads to another. There's some plot where they kidnap some general, I believe.
Well, when we first the compound is brought in. A person brings in a bunch of weapons and proposes that he gives the weapons for free if the bandits help him do a certain particular plot point. And I'm not sure who this man was, but we'll just call him the poor man's James Hong. Since it was just he looked like a very sad cousin of the actual actor.
And then at that point, all the zany escapades begin, right?
Sure. Well, before we go to the zany escapades, let's just address some of the dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
The dialogue, I'm not sure why they felt the need to do this, but there is some of the most excessive cursing I've heard in a movie.
I'm glad you mentioned
that didn't have Def Jam associated with it somewhere. I do not. It's not even good cursing. It's just it's just like random. Oh, we need to say a bad word here. Hey, and it's just that.
Right.
It serves no purpose, and it doesn't make anybody intimidating. It's not even poetic. I mean, You listen to someone like Louis C.K., he takes the verbiage and he makes it a poem of filth. And this was just a pile of filth.
A pile of filth. That is exactly what it was. But it's as if the writer, if there was an actual writer, I don't know, whatever, somebody had to have written this at some point, I guess. They were using the cursing as this connective tissue to connect all the pieces together. Not well, mind you.
I'm fairly certain whoever did this, that English was not the first, second, or third language.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think they just had a list of curse words that they felt villains would probably spew, and then they just randomly inserted these things.
It's almost like the Star Trek was the movie, the third one, was that where we got the whales and they went back in.
Oh, right, the whales, yes.
And Kirk did not know how to curse, and he was using the wrong word in the wrong context. That's what this was like.
That is just what.
But less funny.
Right. Well, yeah, because generally when I watch a horrible film, I find myself chuckling periodically, at least. This film, I was just sort of stymied by the whole fact that it existed. First of all, somebody paid money to release this. I know. I can almost guarantee you this film never had a theatrical release. I'm sure it was one of these straight-to-video deals, which these guys, Lee and Ho, were pretty much notorious for throughout the 80s.
Well, I'm fairly certain that that was their career, because in the 80s was that whole direct-to-deep tape market back then, and you could make tons of movies. I mean, Golden Globus made a ton of. Well, I have people here. Isn't that interesting? We'll pause this for a moment. We're back. All right. Where we were just getting ready to talk about the wacky adventures.
Oh yeah, the wacky adventures in this film. I mean, I would love to sit here and say, man, this film is just packed to the gills with amazing special effects, awesome fight scenes, and just all kinds of really just cool things. But I try not to lie, and I would be lying, because this film really lacks pretty much any
structure, plot, thematic elements,
right?
Photography skills, acting ability,
all of the above.
Script, dubbing, music. What am I missing? Catering. It probably didn't have catering.
Probably not. No.
So we end up in an alley where people are pulled over for no apparent reason next to a couple of people with mullets and acid-washed denim jackets and jeans.
There's a lot of acid-washed denim in this film.
Well, there's a lot of acid in this film, apparently.
I think you're probably right.
And so, what happens?
Okay, these guys are pulled over. They are actually they're working for a government agency transporting a radioactive cat for whatever reason, because I believe the driver is talking to his partner, if you will, and he's saying how this cat has had all kinds of these radiation experiments done on it, so it's very deadly. I think he even mentions if you drop the cat, it could explode or hit it, or you got to be real careful. It's
right. It's clairvoyant.
Yeah.
How would they know? It's a cat.
It's a cat. How would you? That's a good point.
And then the passenger, who was a white guy, and the driver, who was an Asian, is speaking in Asian, horribly dubbed. But you actually see the white guy saying the words. So the driver speaking Thai, the passenger speaking English. They communicate perfectly. The dubbing, however. Again, even though they're using the same words the white guy is saying, it is so insanely off.
It's abysmal. I mean, it's abysmal. This is not good.
All I know is that peas, I'm not cleaning it up.
Exactly. Right. I forgot about that line. That's a good line.
Yeah.
That was one of the best lines from the film, actually.
Sad but true.
So anyway, these guys are hanging out, and I think, don't they decide to go, I don't know if they decided to go to the bathroom or something. They get out of the truck for some reason.
No, they're pulled out of the truck. They're pulled out of the truck.
Well, the one guy walks around the corner, remember, and the thug sneaks up on him and beats him up. There's some sort of a scuffle around.
He had to go get the people or something. I don't remember.
Maybe that's what it was, because they're getting ready to deliver this hot property, this hot commodity in the form of this
black and white
cat. Yeah.
Black and white cat in a little cage. Sure.
So while this is going on, the truck is basically being robbed. They assume this truck is full of money, I guess. These thugs, these street hoods. And I come to find out there is nothing but this cat. So of course they're pummeling. What's the word? I can't even speak. Beating up these poor delivery drivers. When enter Sam and his buddy Gus. They seem to be coming home from some sort of, I don't know if it's a soccer match, a cricket match, or whatever.
I'm going to say baseball games. Just have baseball bats, baseball hats, and baseball jerseys.
So we're going to go with baseball.
But you know, I'm Sherlockian in my observations.
That's why you're
I can see why you could miss those subtle hints.
You are detail-oriented.
Bring your bat! We've got to go help these guys! Bring your bat! You're holding the bat! What? Bring it! You're going to put it down and you're going to protect?
So anyway, they see these poor guys getting beaten within an inch of their life.
They don't call them as guys. They use just some random verbiage.
Right.
They're blanking these blankers. Oh, we got to blank them. Andrew Dice Clay didn't even speak like that. I mean, come on.
No, that's true. This film is just riddled with profanity for no reason.
Of course, Andrew Dice Clay now just says, buddy, you got to die. I mean, let's be honest.
That was horrible, but hilarious. That's why we've been friends for decades.
Okay.
So we got Sam and Gus coming to save the day.
Yeah, the white men are going to beat up the other white men.
Right, in the acid-washed jackets.
Correct.
And they do, and they scuffle for a bit.
Well, let's just talk about that for a second.
Sure. Let's do that.
So you've got, we'll just call him Thug Number 1. And who's the guy who didn't get the superpowers? Which one was he?
The short guy. That would be Gus.
Okay, so Gus comes up with a baseball bat and smacks him in the back of the head with a baseball bat. And the thug's reaction is to turn around and grab an empty beer keg. Why is there an empty beer keg next to a radioactive cat? I don't know.
That doesn't seem safe.
He throws it.
That does not seem safe at all.
I'm just thinking, how hard is this guy's head? If he can withstand a crushing blow from a baseball bat.
Because most of the time that would end in murder, I think. Or at least brain damage.
Concussion, brain damage.
Yeah, you know.
Nigh on death, sure. And then there's a horrendous battle sequence between people. At which point, so Sam?
Sam? You mean the future Catman?
Future Catman.
Oh, did I give away a spoiler? I hope I didn't. Sorry. Yeah.
He gets thrown into the cage, or back against the cage, and this cat, after some clever editing of someone shaking the cage and the cat bouncing, apparently, as he put it, scratched him.
Right. He had this really...
But he had a huge tear in the back of his shirt.
Right.
And a gaping wound.
Yes.
Okay. This was a cat. A kitty cat. Not a Wolverine.
Right, not a leopard.
This was not something that... I've had cats. You know what happens when a cat scratches you? You bleed under your shirt stays whole.
Yeah.
There might be a couple holes there, little tiny ones, that you can't see. Yeah, your biggest clue that you're bleeding is when the blood starts pouring down your leg because cats are evil.
Well, now do you think... I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment. I wish I could speak today. What if the cat... I blame the Mountain Dew. Or did I mention that I was attacked by a dog coming to this today on my way down?
Your dog or a different dog?
No, it was a different dog. Actually, I was driving down the interstate when my cheesy hot dog exploded, and actually, that's why I have mustard all over my shoulders today. So, dog attack. I'm okay. It's okay.
I just thought you walked under a pigeon.
That's what I was afraid you were going to think. So I had to get that out there.
So you lied about making up a hot dog, so you did walk under a pigeon.
I did walk. Yes, okay. We're going to go with that stuff. It's more exciting.
Okay.
Curse you, pigeon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better story than I'm driving down. I'm just like a sloppy eater.
And I'm eating it. First of all, the greasy roller grill hot dog for breakfast.
At breakfast, that's
with mustard.
I mean, it's your breakfast of champions.
Right. That's why. Yeah.
Of course, I guess after Bruce Jenner eating Wheaties, I mean, let's see what happened to him.
Do not eat Wheaties. That's a good lesson for you kids.
He went from being spokesperson for Wheaties to Fruit Loops. Anyway,
Oh, anyway, what I was going to say before you got me off on this tangent about my hot movie experience, or whatever. Anyway, the cat was radioactive. Should that be the reason that he had such an amazing, just this tear in the back of his jacket? Maybe it was the radioactive claw, just this elevated power that this cat had.
So you're saying that the extra strength and the telekinesis and the precognizance and everything else. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Perhaps that's why he was able to.
No, there's no radiation burden.
Well, that's what you're right about that.
I'm going to say no.
And wouldn't you think the cat would be bald?
If you experiment on a cat with radiation, what happens? Dead cat. That's what happens.
Kind of what I thought. I was expecting them to open the box and there's this corpse.
Oh, Schrodinger's cat. He's dead and alive. That's what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue what did you even say?
Schrodinger's cat.
Say that again.
Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat.
He did it, folks, 3 times.
Google it.
Okay, I can't say it, but I will Google it.
Okay.
I'll get my people on that. All right. Your people. My people, yes.
Yeah.
I have people.
All right,
so anyway, radioactive cat.
Radio cat scratches. But then the thug gets the better of our hero.
Right.
And is choking him out. And you see them rolling around, and the thug is choking out this larger, more muscular person.
Way larger, way bigger than this guy.
And he's choking that, and Gus comes up with the bat, and this is just sheer brilliance. They show him from up, looking up into it.
Awesome camera angle, by the way.
Putting the bat, and points it, and pulls back, and then points it, and pulls back, and then points it, and then pulls. I timed it. He waited for 11 seconds to save his friend. He could have dabbed it. I can kill a person in 11 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. He was
and still, even though the massive swing, in Inglourious Basterds, Eli Roth did the same thing with the Jew bear, or the bear Jew, or whatever it was.
Right.
And you see what he did to the Nazi, caved in his skull.
Exactly, murder.
Eyes popping out and stuff like this. This guy just rolls over. And they go, we're going to go. Call the police. Or I don't know. Did they even call the police?
Nah, there were no authorities involved in this film at all.
Okay.
I don't think the police exist in Thailand.
I'm not sure they do.
Yeah. But you're right. The guy, either the wood of this is really soft wood, or these people have incredibly strong craniums.
Well,
I don't know.
It's balsa wood.
I really thought depth.
Yeah, balsa wood, or these people suffer from muscular dystrophy or some other atrophy. They just got enough strength in my hand. Whoa!
It's like really have no strength.
It's like the episode of the Simpsons where Mr. Burns takes a bat to the guy, and it's like just.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, there's no strength. There's no injury.
It very much mirrored that scene in the film.
It really did.
Yeah, the guy rolls over, groans, and that's pretty much the end of it, right?
And that's it. And then they cut back to whatever it was before.
Right.
What was going on at that point? I don't even remember.
After that scene, I'm assuming we jump back to the jungle for a few more scenes of people being shot and tied up and beaten. A lot of
they kidnapped the girl.
They did kidnap the girl. That's right.
They kidnapped the girl. I'm not even sure if it was the same girl or the girl later. Right. She was just disappearing. Yeah, and people got mad.
Okay, they're furious about that.
And then we come back to the person on a motorcycle.
The person, I'm glad you put it that way, the mysterious motorcyclist who is basically riding through the terrain or across the terrain and almost hits a Jeep and causes the Jeep to almost crash. And then the Jeepist, if you will, the driver of the Jeep gets out and begins yelling at the mysterious motorcyclist. Like, what are you doing? You almost caused
We're talking about a motorcycle that's like a 75cc dirt bike. It weighs like 63.5 pounds.
Right. Playing
chicken with a Jeep. I'm fairly certain it would have lost. So this fool swerves out of the way to avoid hitting the motorcycle because, why not?
Right.
And while the Jeep is still running, jumps out of the Jeep and starts yelling at the person on the motorcycle, and the Jeep throws into the water.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever parking brake? I just put it in park!
Right.
Is this the first time you've ever driven a vehicle? God!
Just sort of put it in neutral and say goodbye.
This is stupid.
I hope this doesn't roll off. Oops, it did.
Oh, yeah, it did. Oh, but we also did one other thing, though, we forgot. The introduction of the investigator. They're looking into the Church of the whatever.
Right, the Church of Cheever.
Sure, Church of Cheever. And the investigator, what was his name?
That is a fantastic question.
What was his first name? Was the poor man's Adrian Paul.
There you go, because I have no idea what his name was.
Yeah, again, this guy looks enough like Adrian Paul's, narcoleptic cousin to get by with it.
Yeah.
So, but we'll go back to the young fella, as everybody keeps calling this person. And let's just go ahead and do the spoilers. You want the spoilers?
Sure, let's do spoilers.
Yeah, we'll make it interesting because whoever did the voices, there's like one female voice doing all the female voices, and maybe two people doing all the male voices.
Right. And there are at least 4 females in the film.
And they all and the young fella is obviously a girl's voice.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like you're trying to be androgynous, you're trying to be mysterious. You're disguising yourself as a boy, which is never explained.
And no, it never is.
Other than perhaps she was like a pioneer in the gender transfusion thing that's going on now.
Could be.
It is Thailand, after all.
It is Thailand.
And so
Land of mystery.
Land of mystery, and when she goes to the hotel after riding into the hotel on a motorcycle, because that's what people do.
Right. She didn't. She couldn't find a spot.
The hotel whore is throwing herself at her. Later on, pretty much rapes this person.
Yeah, they made a connection.
I mean, you think you'd find out that perhaps wasn't the guy during the rape, but apparently it didn't matter because the next scene there after that, there's all sorts of weird, I'm gonna say, quasi-romantic music. I don't know.
Well, sure, that's all right.
Oh, sure, why not? So, and then they were the ruffians come in. And there's a fight in this hotel /bar/restaurant /one of 3 sets. And after the fight, the villains are told to, and this is a quote, skedaddle. Jimmy Cagney would not use the dialogue that the villains use in this film.
That's true.
Again, 4th, possibly 5th language. Every villain in this movie uses some of the worst 1930s gangster slang I've ever heard. And being told to skedaddle, my grandpa told me to skedaddle once. Once.
Well, maybe this is another country. Maybe they were sort of reared on these, vintage films, and that's just kind of the way they grew up speaking.
I'm not sure they had electricity. They happened to be watching films.
Hamster wheels.
Okay.
Children in cage. I don't know how that works.
Well, there was electricity in the...
that would explain the poor lighting. The lack of electricity.
Yeah.
And the scene you described a moment ago with the he-she thing. And,
right.
They just couldn't see what was going on.
Yeah. The other thing would be the next part is when it's in the hotel room or the apartment or whatever of Sam. And...
Right.
There's just this 1980s Jane Fonda aerobics going on,
and it's fizzling
in and out like it's like that the scrambled Spice Channel on the
on the satellite.
Right. The old cable thing movies, like it's sort of fading in and out, and you see a bed and it's like moaning and rolling on the sheet. I'm thinking this is some sort of weird masturbatory thing.
Right. That's exactly what I thought.
And then the guy yells, thinking, okay, it's done, and he jumps up like he's confused, and this is where it gets really fun. He figures out he's a human remote control, apparently. On!
Because that's a useful power.
On! Off! And then goes through the myriad of channels. 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! What a cable package you got there, pal.
Right.
And so he discovers he can do this. His friend comes in, the poor man's Adrian Paul. Gus has disappeared forever. So Adrian Paul comes in Hey, you need a drink? It's the middle of the night. The man just woke up. What kind of alcoholic are you? Just like walk in and assume that somebody needs to have a drink.
Exactly.
And no, I get these strange powers.
And of course he doesn't believe them because that's always how it goes.
Right, so he lights a cigarette with telekinesis, or pyrokinesis rather, and punches a hole in the wall, or there goes your security deposit.
Right.
And we're going to tell everybody, no, I don't want people staring at me. Well, you didn't grow a tail!
Right, because let's be fair, he looks exactly the same, except he has these heightened... I'm not even going to say heightened abilities, because he didn't have these abilities to begin with. He has these extraordinary abilities.
Yeah, he can light a cigarette, and he can change channels on TV, and he can punch through a poorly constructed wall in Asia. Which really, I'm not sure any of those things are actual powers.
I think you may be right. I think you may be right. I don't know how secret he really was. And another thing about that is these are supposed to be cat-like abilities that he's developed, which I have never seen a cat punch a hole in the wall.
I've never seen a cat put a cigarette on fire unless the cat itself was on fire.
Right.
I mean, if you got a cat on fire, you can catch it. Yes, you can light a cigarette off of it. But other than that, no.
Before it blacks out, that's right. Well, even after it's blacked out, you can still use it.
As long as it's still smoking.
Yeah, so I guess that's true.
Well, at least if it's on fire, it's going to be blacked out.
But now the TV remote control, I've never seen a cat. First of all, I've never seen a cat physically walk up to a TV and change a channel because they're way too lazy for that. But especially with their mind. Have you ever seen a telekinetic cat?
I have not. But here's this guy is scratched by a cat.
Right.
And gets these abilities.
Exactly.
Stan Lee would not have written this kind of crap. The man who said, oh, if you're getting bitten by a radioactive spider, rather than dying of radiation poisoning, oh no, you get spider abilities. Spiders don't have powers. They have hair on their legs that keeps them from sticking in things, and they spin stuff out of their butt. And again, Parker didn't get that. But This guy gets scratched. Now, even if you go through the incredible, LSD-induced hallucination Stan Lee was suffering from, where he thought, if you get bit by a spider, you should be able to climb walls. That'd be groovy. His words, not mine.
Right. That's very hip.
That at least has, an injection of venom. If a spider bites you, it injects venom into your system. Now, and maybe this cat had some sort of, poison sacs inside of his claws, much like now he's like kind of a snake. It was never explained. And we never learned what happened to the cat. Did the cat just lay in his van and die? Did anyone give this cat any water? What happened to the cat?
I would say...
Or did he use his psychokinetic powers to break through his cage and go conquer the world or something?
I would suppose that's a possibility.
Do you think that cat invented the internet, which is why all the cat videos are so popular?
Wow. That just blew my mind. That is amazing. You may be right. That's the cat.
Sure, that's the cat.
That is
the first cat video.
What if, now this would make more sense to me, as far as his powers go, Sam's, I mean, not the cat's.
Well, the cat's out of the picture.
Maybe he could have developed these claws or something and do something with where retractable claws like a cat.
Yeah, or his fingernails could have morphed into like some sort of retractable claw. His eyes could have turned into a vertical slit instead of the round pupil that we had.
Right.
He could have had a raspy tongue, which are
a sandpaper tongue.
The sandpaper tongue, which could have been very we're not getting into that. Anyway,
he could have developed the ability to sleep 23 hours a day
and poop in the box.
Right. These are things that I would have thought. The writer
he could have just thrown his body hair just everywhere.
Oh yes, the ability to shed, and then hack up his hairballs all over the place. These are all great ideas, none of which were utilized in the writing of this script.
Maybe when we write the sequel.
Oh, there is a sequel, and we'll probably be reviewing it at some point.
How about the third in the trilogy?
We'll write that one.
All right.
We will save this series of films because something has to be done.
Well, all we have to do is just go to some movie house in Southeast Asia and just walk away with the film, what they're going to do. We're twice as tall as them. Even you.
Ooh, that was hitting below the belt.
It'd be very hard to do.
That was bad.
To the ground. Yeah.
Not good. You went there. But so did this film, and that was not good either. So anyway, he gets these abilities. He's just woken up in this sweaty pool, demonstrated his powers, which made no sense to his short friend, who, by the way, had just been hired on as a CIA agent. Did you catch that part?
Saw that.
And then in one of the later scenes, I believe he's talking to his chief, and he says, "You're the best agent I got. We're going to send you out there." And it's like, you were literally just hired, and you're the best agent these people have on hand. So I didn't understand how he climbed the ranks within a matter of days, maybe.
Well, this was made in 1990, and so I'm assuming this is during the cuts to the Central Intelligence Agency.
Okay. So he was maybe the only agent they had.
Well, no, that didn't happen until 1992 or 93 when Clinton was elected, because Bush Sr. was a CIA operative, so we had a hell of a lot of spying. I don't know.
Because this film actually came out, from what I can tell, various stories. One site I found said 88, one said 90, so who knows?
It's officially listed as being released in 1990. I'm assuming what they mean by 88 and 90 is that the original movie was made in 88, and then it was
stolen.
Then it was erased in 1990 and made into this pile.
That's probably
okay.
Yeah, the incarnation that we actually got to see probably came out in 1990.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that's probably the idea. And while I'm on the topic of, I'm really not. I'm just segueing into this other thing. Jonathan Iscar, are you familiar with this man?
No.
He is actually the star that portrayed CATMAN in this film.
Sure.
And apparently he did a handful of other action films overseas and things before retiring to become a pearl harvester on a boat in Australia. I found that interesting. So maybe cats don't hate water.
Had a much more lucrative career.
I think that's why he did it, actually. Because I read a short interview with this guy, and he was talking about how he literally couldn't survive as an actor.
Well, I mean, you're being hired for 7 minutes of film.
Right. I'm sure that didn't pay well.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, because you didn't even buy this film. This was something that I'm sure you stole off the net.
Actually, I rented this and copied it.
Okay.
But
sure.
Yeah, I acquired it fairly. There was money exchanged.
Okay.
Don't give me a black eye here, pal. You call him pal. Don't call me pal. What am I doing? I'm rambling. Anyway, before you got a sidetrack, what we say?
I have no idea. The next thing I have written down is that this guy shows up out of nowhere in a suit.
Right.
For no reason.
And that was never explained, how he could just magically have this suit appear.
Well, it didn't appear in the suit. It was that he just showed up and he already had a suit with an insignia.
But if you recall, there is one scene where he's jogging, he runs into the camera.
That was later.
And then as soon as he passes the camera, he has the suit on.
He has the suit on. But this is when...
But this was later.
This is the first time he shows up in the suit where someone had placed an ad in the paper, an English paper in Thailand,
and this
desperately seeking someone to light cigarettes.
Right.
Now, what was that supposed to mean?
I was going to ask you if you had any theories on it.
I have no idea.
That made zero sense.
Then the acid wash jean thugs show up right in front of this guy who's sitting there next to the road. Yeah, I didn't know this stuff. Wait a minute, there's someone right there. You pull up in front of him. Of course he's right there.
Yeah.
What did you have a blind spot?
Yeah, maybe.
The paper he's holding in front of his face, conceal his appearance altogether. You just thought, oh look, a floating newspaper with a construction helmet hovering above it. Certainly there's no person.
Couldn't be a person.
So they, for no reason, just start chasing him into the woods.
Right. Which they didn't really explain that either.
Again, the large pine woods of northern Thailand, not California. Or wherever. And so then Catman jumps out, and this guy says, "Yeah, Catman, yeah, Cat." Who never even begin to start calling him Catman? There's no.
It's not like he's wearing a cat suit. Obviously, the people listening to this have no idea what he looks like unless they've seen the film or Googled it or they.
And I recommend that you don't.
Yeah, because he's not running around in what you would probably expect, like a cat suit with ears and a tail or whatever, that sort of thing. Not at all.
No, he's wearing just a black jacket and black pants and has what appears to be the old people's sunglasses that go around your normal prescription glasses.
Right.
And a little yellow thing that has a cat on it. Like a really crude drawing of a cat. And almost like it's supposed to be like the bat symbol because it is a yellow background and the outline of a cat running sideways.
Right.
Because that strikes fear in everyone's hearts.
It's not good. It's very similar, if you think about it, to the old, I think it was maybe Rayovac batteries that had like a black cat.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to think that was.
Yeah,
I'm sure they didn't just take it off of a package and put that on there since they had such a budget.
Right, because that would be wrong.
Right. So this man who's now been granted these amazing, miraculous powers of telekinesis and pyrokinesis and super strength gets his butt handed to him by a bunch of 1980s surfer-looking
hooligans.
Jerseyite hooligans,
Yeah, they were bad.
And it was there was no point to it. He somehow wins the fight, but he didn't use his firepower, didn't use his super strength, didn't do anything. What he did do was hold his arms up, and he has these spiked wristbands on, and the thugs were kind enough to shoot at the spiked wristbands other than his exposed abdomen and his tender entrails or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Because, cats, I remember, aren't bulletproof.
Exactly.
No, they're not. No, they're not. We won't know why I know this so well, but they're not.
I won't ask.
Yeah,
I fear the answer.
Well, you don't want to know.
But
I couldn't tell you. The statute of limitations is enough.
Yeah, that made no sense to me, the bulletproof thing. And were the wristbands supposed to be bulletproof?
I don't know.
They were just leather wristbands.
They were just leather wristbands, unless the bullets were bouncing off the metal spikes.
Okay, maybe.
But of course, if you don't have dense bone structure, you're just going to shatter your wrist.
Yeah,
Even if your skin is bulletproof, your wrists are going to shatter from the impact of these bullets.
Well, we all know how strong radiation-treated bones are, too.
Yes,
not at all brittle.
That's why everyone in chemotherapy gets a cape and starts flying around beating up people.
Exactly. Because radiation is our friend.
Exactly.
It's not to be feared at all.
Exactly, Stanley. Yeah, I'm sure that's worked out well for him.
Don't listen to F kids. That's not true.
So they throw an unlit stick of dynamite at Catman.
Yeah.
And part of it is not just disintegrated in the overwhelming explosion. And Adrian Paul and Catman are like, oh, it's got a logo on the top of it. We need to take this back and analyze it. Take it back to the cat computer. Now suddenly he's Bruce Wayne.
And that's exactly what I thought.
2 minutes ago you're in a one-room apartment that made a New York flop house look luxurious. And now you have a cat computer?
Yeah, right.
I'm fairly certain if you have a cat computer, it's like one of those old-fashioned DOS-running Macintosh that you stole from a 7th grade classroom in 1986.
Floppy disks?
Floppy disks. Run the floppy disk over this and see what you do. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how useful that would be. But I don't think it proved to be that useful anyway, did it?
Oh, you never saw it?
Yeah, he mentioned it.
And the only thing they couldn't even figure out where it was coming from. They had to ask a bum who hassled them out of a cheeseburger, coffee, fries, and apple pie. Now, that's a hard bargain, I understand. Particularly when you buy everything from a 7-Eleven, a 5-star restaurant.
And it was indeed a 7-Eleven.
It was a
7-Eleven appeared in this film. Probably not.
That's a good product placement right there.
Probably they had knowledge of the fact that they were appearing in this film.
More than likely not.
But they do, in fact, appear in this film.
So they give the bum, like I only assume it was like 38 cents worth for the food because, and they're mad about it. You're just really giving it to us. You better give us some good information.
Yeah, he broke the bank there.
How sell the cat computer and be able to buy something?
Sell your baseball bats, anything. I mean, the bum sort of gave them what they wanted. I mean, he sort of directed them in the right area as to the hideout or something. Because I mean, it proves lucrative to them eventually because they find They do find a place.
Well, they already know about the church because the investigator has been going in to infiltrate and blank it up, according to his boss. Infiltrate. Now, he never infiltrated a church.
Right, that's true.
He just walked around with a guy in a black suit.
Right.
His partner. Quotation marks around that. And so they know of the existence of this church. The church was Chiba.
Chiba, yes,
the Church of Chiba.
However they pronounce it.
Church of Chiba. Yeah, and so even though they have the initials for the church, and they're there to investigate the church, and they know that the church is an evil organization, the bum has to say, "Oh, it could be the Church of Chiba." Oh, that's a brilliant idea. You just said about the church.
Yeah.
And now you don't, it's like a surprise. Then now all of a sudden, it's the church. Well, maybe we should go investigate that.
Right. It's because of the radiation, the cat-like, abilities that he developed. That's how they figured it out.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
sure.
the only explanation. That's what I'm going with.
No, I wasn't asking if that's what you thought. I'm just thinking, do you think, in general, or do you actually think?
Well, I did watch this film, so I would probably have to lean more towards not enough.
No.
Yeah, probably. So anyway,
it would go back to the convoluted kidnapping of a general, and then we've got the impenetrable fortress. We've got the guy girl on the massive motorcycle and just driving through the country and just running across these people. And she's never explained why she's out there.
No.
Never.
Joyriding, I suspect.
Well, there's no explanation of the connection to this gang or anything. She's not seeking vengeance or
nothing.
She's just there and gets caught up in this tangled web of deceit and trickery. Right. And so she goes through and punches and kicks a couple people, and they start screaming they want this guy because no one's figured out that the girl with the girl voice is a girl. And they
lit once again.
And they talk. They take off on this dirt road and squealing the tires, which makes
on dirt. Yes, on dirt.
It's a very hard thing to do. There's some talent that goes along there. And the girl, guy, girl, lady, girl, whatever, I'm not sure, is going away and pushing this motorcycle as fast as it can go at a good 25, 30 miles an hour, which is only slightly faster than the trucks that are chasing her.
Right.
And so rather than using the off-road capacity of the bike to get away, she pulls out a shotgun from nowhere and rides at these people using her foot to turn the accelerator and steer, just one foot. Physical impossibility. And then starts shooting a shotgun. Now, I'm a gun guy. And I'm looking at all these guns that the villains have, which are 38s and 32s. They're not exceedingly powerful things. And the shotgun is a wonderful weapon at close range. She's shooting these guys from like half a mile away. Do you know what happens if you shoot a shotgun at someone half a mile away?
Tell me.
They laugh at you because they didn't get close to them.
So what you're saying is
it's a magic shotgun.
I got you.
Yeah, and particularly when there's only one shot and there's two holes that appear separately in the glass, bursting out of the glass on the truck, coming at her. There's a boom, it bursts out, not in, as if she would be shooting at the car.
Right.
And it bursts out in two different places from being shot at by the shotgun from half a mile away.
I do have a possible explanation for all of these things you just talked about. In regards to the
acid flashback?
That would be a great way to explain this entire picture.
I think so.
Call it a picture. But no, I think the gun had been treated with radiation, just like the cat.
The gun or the cartridges?
Actually, probably the entire everything, the arsenal itself.
Everything had been
irradiated, including the motorcycle.
It irradiated everything.
Right. So that explains the sort of, if you will, abnormal ability.
And if you recall, Hiroshima had a whole outgrowth of superheroes and amazing abilities after World War II ended. Oh, radiation is our friend.
Yeah, there again, kids, that's not true. And why are you listening to this? Anyway.
Your parents should know better. So they go back to this impenetrable fortress.
Yes.
The impenetrable fortress of bamboo.
Bamboo, and I think I saw a couple of sheets of metal.
And you have a guy who's never been introduced before, and there's no explanation for him, but he shows up wearing what can only be described as a Foot Locker employee shirt.
Yes.
It's a striped referee t-shirt. Nothing screams camouflage and you can't see me.
Right.
Like having a white and black striped shirt that you stole from some guy from Foot Locker.
Yep.
And he gets caught.
Yeah, the referee the referee, that's what we're going to call him.
So the referee is now tied up in the impenetrable fortress with the general who's been previously kidnapped. And then there's some girl who I can only assume knew him or had connection with him because she talks like she knows him. And she's in love with one of the bandits, even though apparently they treat her horribly.
Right.
But then she's like, I'm in love with one of the bandits, you know that, but they forced me to do things, and I can't take it anymore. So their brilliant plan is this. The general has an army of thousands of people awaiting his command.
Right.
And he's tied up.
Says, yes.
So he's tied up.
We're led to believe this to be the case.
And the referee is sitting there, likewise tied up. So the prisoner sex toy, whatever.
Unfortunate lady.
Sure, the lady of the evening, the soiled dove. Is it always evening there? So forth. Anyway, so she's there, and the plan is they just need to get word that the general gives the order to attack this place. So instead of cutting loose the general, to let him go.
So that he could make this.
Or just get away. Not even attack the place, just get away.
Right. Yes.
They cut loose the referee.
Right.
So that he can go to somewhere and say, come here and rescue your general, because that wouldn't be suspicious at all. Oh, the general's gone? I know where he's at, but I'm not a bad guy. Beautifully well written, I swear.
Yeah.
So and if you're wondering where CATMAN is in all this, so are we.
Because there again, he never, ever sets foot in these woods.
There's nothing that has anything to do with the guns, the general, the plan to take over all of Asia. None of this has anything to do with CATMAN. Except the Church of Cheever is there.
Yeah.
Mentioned one time just before the end of the movie. And so he gets away. He gets into a fight with another guy who was apparently on his side or not on his side. I don't know.
See, they were confused. They had trouble telling each other apart.
Well, it was dark.
It was dark.
And they're Asian.
And so
you can't tell each other apart.
Because it was dark.
And they're Asian. And so,
we're not trying to offend the Asian listeners. You just got to see this film. This film is enough to insult
everybody,
anyone. But
and so they get in a fight. They stop fighting, and they go get the general's troops somehow. The troops show up, and one guy jumps up with a bullhorn and screams, "We've got you surrounded! Come down and surrender!" And a horrendous gun battle ensues. But it's only shooting to one side. If they were surrounded, why didn't the people behind them shoot?
Right.
Oh, that would have called for more than 5 people to be in a scene at one point.
Exactly.
Okay. So
it's just not possible.
Yeah. I'm at such a loss for words. I'm not sure what happens here. I literally just watched this film.
Right.
Like, before we started this podcast, we watched the film. And I just cannot figure out what was going on at any given point because none of it made sense. Now, Ladyboy who had previously been wounded and then struck up her relationship with the hotel whore. And then with the romantic music and everything like that, after the wound had been healed, the horrendous wound of like a 2-inch blade in her arm.
Right.
It's just like an arrow to the knee, I suppose. Anyway, and she was rescued earlier by some guy who just happened to be standing around the bad guys with Molotov cocktails. I don't know why, but that's what happened. So now she's running around with an M16 welded to the front of her, 75cc dirt bike, and is just blasting everybody. And comes up, and again, this is not a speedy motorcycle. This is not. She comes up at like 2.5 miles an hour. The gun only goes frontward. The people to her side, not being pointed at with this weapon, freak out and run. This is not a Sherman tank.
Right, I don't know.
They kept trying to shoot her, the motorcycle, each other,
right.
Whatever. No, we'll just go ahead and run. Can you explain what happens at the end of the battle here? What happens?
Now, is this the battle where she is shooting everyone with the gun?
This is the battle where she's shooting everyone with the gun.
And this is not the shotgun here. This is actually an automatic weapon she's mounted to the handle.
This is an M16 or AR-15 type weapon that has been mounted, and apparently never needs replenishing.
Right, never has to reload this thing.
Right,
just keeps on going.
It doesn't have to watch out for any hot brass coming out with the ejector.
She's just like blasting the villains, which they're almost. It seems like there's more than 5 villains in that scene. But I think they just recycle the actors in different shirts.
I think they may have.
Yeah. I think that's probably better than the lighting.
Right.
Which I'm beginning to think they did the poor lighting for a reason, so that they could get away with these sort of tricks, these film tricks, to fool the audience. And they work so well, apparently.
And when a movie called Pitch Black has better lighting than this, you kind of got to wonder.
Right. If you have to put night vision goggles on to enjoy this film, to see what's really going on.
Well, I wouldn't use the term "enjoy this film."
Well, no, if you will.
I think night vision goggles is going to require some vodka along with it to enjoy this film.
To sit through this film and kind of have an idea of what's going on. Still not completely, but sort of. So anyway, she blasts all these hooligans that are running around the woods and whatnot.
Is the general saved?
The general. I couldn't tell you, honestly. I don't remember. Somebody lived. Was it the general?
The general lived.
There were 3 of them at the end of that scene.
Right. Well, there was the evil sergeant.
Right.
And then the evil sergeant got shot.
He's been shot at this point. Presumed dead.
Presumed dead. I think the one he shot was formerly referee.
Right.
He changed his shirt.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And referee having to be standing in front of the general.
Yeah, that's what.
And so Lady Boy, or no, that wasn't.
Yeah,
Well, that wasn't Lady Boy.
It's not. Okay.
No, I think that was the captive whore.
Oh, okay, it was her.
The captive whore who knew referee was standing next to referee. Referee got shot and took the bullet for the general.
That's what it was.
He was shot.
Right, because the villain who had been shot earlier comes crawling out from under some sort of hut or housing of some sort, which I don't know how he got under there. He was shot. I don't think he was anywhere near the underbelly of a home. But for some reason, he crawls out.
We are talking about the same movie where a guy is crawling up a cliff on a road. A cliff that you could easily walk up because it's not straight, it's an incline.
But he had to employ the use of a grappling hook.
Had to employ the use of a grappling hook. And then shot straight to his side to shoot a man who was standing on a flat plane.
Yeah,
That's got some odd terrain there in Thailand. Apparently so. So, yeah, I'm not sure. The general lives. They rescue the general so they avoid the war. And because the general wouldn't give him that certain document, which was never revealed. And then we go back to CATMAN.
Oh, you almost forgot the most important part of that scene.
Again, how much have you had to drink? Is this why you enjoyed this movie? You're drunk now. I need to take a breathalyzer, sir.
It's Mountain Dew, I assure you.
Yeah, Mountain Dew or something else. Yeah, the old Mountain Dew, the kind you get from the hillbillies in Appalachia.
Hillbilly shine, I believe they call that.
Exactly.
Well, the most important part of this scene, after referee dies, we go back to the general, or not, the evil villain guy that just crawled out from under the... the villain that crawled out from under the house and shot the referee.
Okay.
And he has a request.
Oh, yes, the request. Yes. After betraying his country, trying to thrust the entire continent of Asia into a destructive war, looks up at the guy who shot him and says, my plan was so perfect, I don't understand how it failed, but could you put me in a military graveyard? I'd really like that.
And then he dies.
And then he dies. So I'm going to betray my country and my countrymen and everyone around me, and my plan is to kill untold billions of people. But I'd like my rotten thinking carcass to be tossed into a hole designated military. Yeah, I'm just thinking you leave him there to rot and let the birds take care of it.
I think that's probably what happened. We never really know. I'm assuming that's probably what the guy was thinking.
Now, I've forgotten, was the Blazing Gun battle before or after the rallying of the evil church troops?
Considering we just watched this, I couldn't tell you. Not that it really matters.
Yeah, because
the continuity of this film, it really doesn't matter.
There's a scene where the evil church guy is rallying his army of 5 people.
Right.
One of whom is just headbanging and moshing by himself to no music.
No music at all.
One guy who's just taking a aerosol can and holding a match to it and blowing up fire. Ooh. One girl who's washing her hair.
Yeah, for some reason.
In the middle of a room. This is not. She comes out of the shower.
It's a makeshift gym.
It's an empty room.
Air full of soap.
And she's got some shaving cream or something, some big sudsy stuff in it. Another guy, I don't remember what he was doing. The juggler, the combat juggler.
Right.
Because nothing spells deadly evil like juggling. Okay.
This was the cast of characters. This is the
evil. This is the evil that he's got.
It's quite the rogues gallery.
And so.
Fierce.
And then he's got his own daughter, tied up, who gives her sob story and a beautiful bit of subtle exposition. I've always done what you wanted ever since you raped me at 13. And he's going to kill her. I don't know why he's going to kill her.
I think she had maybe unintentionally given away some of their secret plans.
But again, she was never in the movie before.
Right.
And so they have no idea. So
they just pretty much brought her.
So Henchman pulls out a knife that is so large it looks like one of those giant anime knives that a giant robot in space would be wielding. It's not even a sword. It is literally what looks to be a prop knife, a plastic silver prop knife that you use on Halloween as a gag. It's as if you took an oversized prop anyway and put it in the hand of a child. And this knife was so large it could not be concealed, and yet, like Highlander, pulls out the whole sword out of his
from his ass.
Bunghole!
Whatever he was wearing there.
So he pulls up this thing, and then CATMAN, having had no idea that anything was going on, swings in and rescues
rope.
Yeah, rope out of nowhere. Rescues the
ball of yarn, maybe.
Rescues the girl, who then sprays hairspray at her, at him, and the companion.
Yes.
Now, this is the church whose evil master is able to set fire by poking a magic stick at something, and that's how he gets everyone's attention. And it's talking about we have to kill everybody and destroy and sacrifice everything to our dark lord, the devil, and that's God's work, and all that stuff. And they've got the 2 heroes incapacitated, and what did they do with them?
Well, they did not kill them. They absolutely did not murder these 2 heroes in cold blood like any other group of bandits would probably have done to, get them out of their hair. What they did was, well, actually, you cut to the next scene. You're outside. There's a road, a highway, I suspect, just some abandoned road in Thailand, I guess, or wherever they actually filmed the footage.
Yeah, wherever Thailand.
Giant spray-painted circle with a message, something to the effect of "Do not mess with Cheever or something, and they're just laying here, randomly laying in.
And it's not just a circle. It's a target. It's a bullseye target.
It is a bullseye.
And it has numbers as if, it points system, 10, 20, 30.
For some reason.
Right. And they're just laying there.
They're just laying. They wake up. They're fine, unharmed. They haven't been beaten or anything.
Or
stabbed or shot
or neutered.
No, yes, they've not been there. Catman is intact, as far as we know.
You think that they were released neutered Catman? I can assume he wasn't, because he didn't have the cone of shame around his neck.
That's true. There was no cone present in that scene, and he still had his fancy garb on, the gear, the glasses, all the gear, really the wristband.
What was their reaction? What was their reaction?
They just pretty much woke up and didn't seem too fazed by the whole thing to me.
And they looked at each other and said, "Oh yeah, don't mess with Cheever."
Yeah.
Well, they didn't say mess.
Well, it was a little more colorful than that.
Right. And that was
it.
That was the whole thing.
Very anticlimactic.
Well, you'd think that if the villain would have done something, it would have been better than just sticking him out on the road with a target on him.
It makes you wonder why they wrote the scene that way. Why would they not? I understand why they didn't kill him, because then they couldn't finish the movie properly by the big giant finale that this movie
after watching this, I kind of wish they had killed him there.
It probably would have been a better ending.
It certainly would have been a better ending.
Yeah. Because after that, they wake up. They come across They come across a woman walking down the street. So they say it's a woman. You'd have to be blind to think this was a woman. This horrible Halloween wig.
It looked like a monkey.
It kind of shuffled along like
it looks like this was this huge giant afro wig that covered up everything, and then Slash had less mess of his hair in the 1980s.
Yeah, they must have paid like a nickel for this thing. It was horrible.
Yeah, and so hey, let's ask this lady where we're supposed to be, because there's a huge meetup of the evil empire. They're expecting 200,000 people.
200,000 people. This is the positive thinking that this Father Cheever has about his gathering that he has planned. He expects about 200,000 people.
Everybody come and call our toll-free line.
Toll-free number. He's advertising on the television. A toll-free number to call for information. I suppose for directions to this shindig, which
and then they don't know where it is, even though they've been told where it is. So they show up and they don't know where anything is. They ask what the thing is, lady, and it's the same bum who took them out of a cheeseburger. And they're pissed. They're still pissed at this poor guy, homeless man that they thought may have been so bad shape they thought he was dead.
Right.
And now they're mad that they actually ordered him a cheeseburger, fries, apple pie, and a coffee. There's some loving Christian value right there.
Exactly.
We're out at $1.50. I'm mad.
Right.
There's no compassion.
Pretty selfish.
Yeah.
And they continue to ask the hobo-esque character where the gathering is taking place. We know you know. Tell us where. And he points. Over there. It's over there. It's taking place over there. And one of the last lines of the scene is, he's been brainwashed. He's not going to tell us anything. Well, he just kind of pointed and told you. It's pretty much right there if you will look.
My thought would be to look for the 200,000 people.
Well, yes. Yeah, that would probably be a sign that there's something going on. You got that many people. Of course, we know there were not.
There were not 200,000.
There were probably 5. The same 5 people we've been seeing.
Same 5 people over and over.
No guests showed up to this thing.
So they go back to the Great Pine Woods of northern Thailand / California.
Right.
And somebody's been doing laundry because there's just rope between trees and what looks to be bed sheets just kind of hanging there.
Yeah, like they're just homeless.
And they're just
really
they've done their laundry. It's drying, and Father Cheever, the villain, is sitting there in his little prayer stance
in his sweaty, almost looks like a priest outfit of some kind of a purple sash around.
Right, and
ponytail.
When Catman and his friends show up, and something happened.
Yeah, his friend shows up, and Catman approaches him, and he points his magic stick at this little bowl of fire, and it sort of jumps towards Catman, not anywhere near him, really, but enough to cause him to jump back and fear.
And again, so here we go.
Because cats hate being burnt.
Apparently,
they don't like that when you burn.
Well, I can't say from personal experience, so I'm not going to tell you the details, but yeah, I know that.
There again, I won't dig any deeper.
That's what you shouldn't. We go back to the point where Catman has all these amazing powers and never uses them.
Yeah.
We have a guy who previously has demonstrated the ability to create fire out of nothing. Just poof, set something on fire.
Right.
And rather than using any of the extraordinary powers granted to him by his radioactive cat scratch,
yes,
he doesn't use that.
No.
Rather than the villain saying, "Oh, you remember I can make things on fire. Poof, you're on fire, and now you're the old monk from the cover of the Rage Against the Machine album, where you're self-immolation." No. He poofs something at his foot and then runs.
Right, he did. He did do that.
I'm not sure that really counts as being very villainous.
More cowardice, really, than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Catman's not in a suit at this point.
That's right. He's wearing his civilian clothing.
And then during the chase,
I think I like the suit better, actually.
During the chase, he runs toward the camera, and you have that whole classic where the character runs directly. The camera's at chest level. He runs into the camera, and then as he leaves the camera, your camera's pulled back from his back. He's now in his costume. Poof. Again, I remember having cats that can change their clothes a little. No, I don't.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Well, that was in the 80s.
I did not do that many drugs.
Well, that's a good thing, right? That's why you're still sharp as a tack. But that camera angle you just described, I think they stole that from The Adventures of Under the Hagate. Because I remember that very
I remember that same sort of thing. I remember very hairy chest coming at the camera.
If you don't know what that is, people, you can always Google it. I'm sure you can find some information on YouTube.
I wouldn't anyway for you. If anything, it's worse than this movie. So.
Oh no. I wouldn't try that.
So, Catman's chasing. The villain now has a M16 with a grenade launcher.
And where did he get that? Was it under his cloak or his dress or whatever you call that?
Like everything else, he pulls things out of his bum.
His fatherly garb.
Sure. Yeah, his fatherly garb. And so he...
Do not smell that gun.
He's blasting the grenade launcher. Now, you don't actually do the grenade launcher shoot, because that would require a budget.
Right.
What you do see is him acting like he's going to shoot it. You cut away, and then they have multicolored smoke grenades going off around the heroes who are running away because they're so heroic.
Right.
And so it's like they stole the pyrotechnics off the Power Rangers TV set.
Yes.
Because everything is multicolored smoke.
Red and blue, yellow.
I've seen grenades go off. They don't look like that.
They're usually not beautiful.
They don't move straight up. They mostly like explode and tear your entrails out with shrapnel.
Yeah, that's usually.
And so rather than it's a little more than just kind of a turn. It's like, oh, I should maybe go left a little bit here. And a grenade goes off that close, so you usually kind of lose your way.
Yeah. These were not very good grenades.
Bleed out.
I think he bought these at the local fireworks stand because these really were just more like smoke bombs.
They really were. And yet somehow one of them killed Adrian Paul.
Right. He ended up dying.
For no apparent reason. Right. And then there's a fight after Catman skillfully hid himself behind a bush.
In a bush, like a cat would, probably.
Right. Now, so that actually probably was the most cat-like thing in the entire movie.
Exactly.
If he had jumped out and wrapped himself around this guy's ankle and started biting and kicking, Catman. I was going to say, that would have been Catman.
And then spray him in the face.
Didn't do any of it. Didn't do any of it.
None of that happened. No. That would have been awesome.
And if nothing else, he could have kicked some killing at him.
Yes.
No.
Maybe we should have written this. We will.
And he jumps up, and after knocking down the evil priest...
Oh, you forgot you forgot the new character that was introduced, the Asian guy in a priest suit.
Oh, yeah, the Asian.
Which I didn't recognize from the rest of the film, but he was here.
Wasn't in the rest of the film.
He was one of the guests, maybe. The guest speaker.
I'm not sure who he was.
He had a matching suit.
Well, he actually knew some decent fighting techniques.
He had some moves. He had the best moves of anyone in this film.
Right. Now, it was awful considerate of him to kick over Catman's head when Catman ducked to the ground.
Well, he didn't want to bust him in the face.
You know, I can understand if this was an MMA match that's kind of against the rules, but this is a fight for one's life. I mean, if someone ducks to the ground, You don't kick over him. You kick him. Yeah, you kick him in the head. It's much easier. You don't hit him with time. So, but no. Then he does the whole, like, I'm a spinning top sort of thing where he's balancing on one toe and one leg's extended and he's spinning around. And of course, rather than just, jumping on top of the fool while he's defenseless. No. Catman keeps jumping up like, it's one of those little things that they had in the 90s where you put one around your ankle, you just whirl it around, you just jump, and you jump, and you jump, and you jump. Okay, so he's jumping around the leg, which is what? Worse, is going to whack into his ankle and probably do more damage to the guy who's doing the spinning. No, so while you're jumping up, cat-like,
move.
Why not just jump on the man?
Right, smash it.
Yeah, outweighing him by 160 pounds.
Sure, just twice the size.
Yeah, just smushed him. Smushed him. But no, we had to have. How was that resolved?
Well, that was resolved. I think actually he was getting the better.
Oh, the bad guy got shot. He was getting
the best of Catman. He was.
Adrian Paul shot.
He shot him twice in the back. He runs out of a bush. Right. So that was okay. So he hadn't died yet.
Not yet. And that's when they started running.
He shoots the kung fu priest in the back twice.
And that's when the Father Cheever pulls out the grenade launcher. That's when they ran off.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyway.
And now we're up to
Adrian Paul's dead.
Yes.
Father Cheever and Catman. Now, mind you, I'm looking at this, and as we're watching this, I know that this movie is 1 hour and 30 minutes long.
Right.
And it is 1 hour and 29 minutes. And it's now come to the big climactic scene between Catman and...
And we think what I'm thinking?
Well,
this last minute's going to be amazing.
Well, no, what I was thinking is that you gave me a bad copy and like the last 10 minutes were gone.
Actually missing.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, this is going to be interesting. An excuse you're going to give me? No, he knocks down the priest and pulls off a sticker
off of his glasses, the old people glasses,
and flicks at this guy like a booger. It doesn't penetrate his skin.
It sort of just landed on his
jacket. Like a booger!
Yeah, just sort of whoosh, landed on his jacket. And what happened?
He died. The end. That was it. That literally was it. He died. The end. After having a booger flipped at him.
Yeah. It was instant death. I don't know what this thing was made of.
It didn't penetrate.
Maybe it scared him to death.
Maybe it was irradiated.
Maybe it was a radioactive booger. Booger with a cat logo or something.
Yeah.
Because he died and then within a second after the death, the end appears.
Yeah, and
dramatically.
That was it. There was no resolution. We don't know where anyone's buried. If the evil sergeant got his military funeral as he requested, or we don't know if Adrian Paul, came back to life because they didn't take his head. We don't know whatever happened to the lady man, the lady boy, and the hotel whore. If they lived happily ever after on Ellen DeGeneres' show, we don't know what happened to any of these people.
We don't know. We have to assume they're.
We don't know what happened. I mean, he's dead, but we don't really. I'd like some more resolution of what happened to one-eyed Asian Yul Brynner.
Right.
Who's going to have the oddest tan line of any human being in history, since he had one big, long leather bracer.
Yeah.
Up from his wrist to his elbow on his left arm, but not his right. And so he's always on the sun with no sleeves. He's going to get tan, except for this big piece right here. That'll be very hard to explain why he's like that.
Yeah.
Unless you say I got exposed to radiation.
Which he may have.
I don't know. Maybe it was a star that was hiding. Of course.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, we're not going to spoil it, but you really do need to watch this movie. For nothing else, the explanation of how Asian Yul Brynner lost his eye.
We didn't mention that, but
it's a heart-wrenching story.
You'll have to.
It's heart-wrenching.
We'll have to watch this film and pay close attention to the guy.
It goes quick. It goes quick.
Yeah, you may have to run it back. Yeah. It is. So I'm assuming the people that lived, the few that did actually live, will be in the sequel, which we haven't seen yet. But probably will at some point. Probably not in the near future, but we got to sort of recuperate from this one first.
I'm taking that as a threat.
That is indeed a threat.
Okay. All right. So as long as it's not as premeditated, so the penalties will be worse.
It's on, buddy. Okay. It is on.
Well, I think that we have suffered enough by reliving this monstrosity of a movie.
Oh, but one more bit of information you might enjoy, Mr. Shane.
Would that be that you're apologizing to me?
Well, besides that, 1,000 pardons for inflicting this horrendous piece of dreck on me.
It's really bad movie when you wish for a John Waters movie instead.
Ooh.
When you pine for the days of Pink Flamingos, then you know this is a very bad movie.
Well, there was no poo eating. There could have been some cat poo eating, I guess.
Well, that would have been more if there was a dog.
Well, that's
dog
true.
man with Catman, because dogs do go into the cats.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that firsthand. Well, the bit of information is Godfrey Ho, or Alton Chung, who directed this film, is now actually a film professor in Hong Kong, instructing young minds on how to make films.
I can only assume he's using his films to say this is what not to do.
I would hope so.
Everything you see here, do the opposite.
Yeah.
In fact, just don't make a film.
My theory is he's probably not showing any of his works. He's probably pulling out the classics and saying this is how you make a film. Because really, this, no.
I'm saying no. I'm saying that really someone needs to shoot him.
To shoot him? You mean with a camera or like a gun?
No. With a real gun. Or
mounted to the handlebars of a dirt bike.
Throw him off a tall building. I'm not sure. Someone needs to take him to The Hague and try him for crimes against cinema.
Yeah, there's a little bit of crime committed here, I have to admit.
Oh, more than your piracy.
But, yeah, more than that. But anyway.
Why don't you have an eye patch there, me Hardy?
It's at the dry cleaners, thank you. I'm getting my Kennedy $50 polished or what? Actually, mine was a different. It had the chick. What was the chick that was on the? Never mind. I can't remember.
You know, like Captain Harlock.
No. I mean money. There was a coin that came out that had a woman on it.
Oh, Susan B. Anthony?
Susan B. Anthony. That's what I am brandishing on my
trivia.
Naga hide. Mine's not leather. It's actually Naga.
You are, in fact, the trivia king of money, aren't you?
Money? What's that?
We don't know. You know why?
I get paid in green pepper.
You get paid in green pepper.
And on that note,
sir, I appreciate it, and thank you all for listening, and here is your green pepper.